Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to join us. Today, I'm pleased to announce that we're going to be talking about Acumatica and 3 tools to maximize profitability and cash flow. We have Lightspeed with us and Starship and APS. We're going to get to the presentation quickly here. Just a couple of housekeeping notes before we start. If you note on your webinar pane right next to your name, you'll see a question mark button. If you click on that button, if you click on that question mark button, a dialog box will open up where you can go ahead and key in your question. And we will be reserving the announcing of those questions until the end of the webinar. And once again, thank you so much for joining us. I'm joined today by 3 leaders in this space, in the Acumatica integrated space. Lightspeed. Lightspeed is an automation tool for customer service and sales, and Starship is a automated shipping solution, and APS Payments automates your payment processing. Just a couple notes here on the speakers. I'm so pleased to be joined by Steve Moore, VP of Sales and Marketing over at Lightspeed Voice, Matt St. John, Sales Executive at Starship and APS Payments, Patty Benitez, SVP of Channel Sales. Thank you guys for joining. A little bit about Lightspeed. Lightspeed is a plug-and-play phone system with sales automation tools that makes it easy to automate sales and customer service processes right from your Acumatica CRM. Lightspeed Voice offers business communications advantage of a Fortune 500 at a fraction of the cost over traditional phone systems. It just plugs right into Acumatica. They enable our customer to release themselves from the expensive, obsolete, and inadequate telephone lines to move their voice communications into the 21st century with state-of-the-art high-speed data connectivity right from Acumatica. So Steve's going to talk a little bit more about that and show you how that works. And Starship is a leading shipping software. They provide integrated shipping right into Acumatica. They partner with dozens of parcel and LTL carriers, FedEx, UPS, OnTrack, many more LTL carriers like Holland, UPS, YRC, Old Dominion, and Pitt, Ohio are a few examples. And they provide that integration link right into Acumatica so that customer service and all of the staff that are accessing Acumatica can see all the shipping tracking numbers when the shipment arrives. And they also have integrations with Dynamics GP, Sage, QuickBooks, SAP Business One, Epicor, Syspro, and e-commerce integrations with Amazon, eBay, Magento, Shopify, and WooCommerce. A very mature solution, been around since 1987. And Matt's going to talk all about Starship. And we have Patty joining us today, who's going to talk about APS Payments and their flexible integrated payment solutions and integration with Acumatica. They're a full-service merchant services provider. They eliminate that manual data entry of keying between disparate systems. They streamline operations and lower admin costs. They have a secure solution that simplifies PCI compliance, and they improve your cash flow and customer experience with the online payment portal. And you can save with B2B transactions using level 3 credit card processing, where APS will access all the data about the customer that the credit card processing chain needs so that they can get the lowest credit card processing rates possible given the information about the customer. And a little bit about the workflow here we're going to be talking about. Steve's going to start off with Lightspeed Voice and their integration with their voice over IP into Acumatica and how you can automate your sales and customer service using their solution. Matt is going to talk about automated shipment processing, taking all the rules of the shipment, the dimensional weight, where the customer is, and rate shopping between the different carriers to get the best rate on your shipment, and accessing all the information in Acumatica and passing it back there so that everybody has access to the information. And Patty's going to talk about automated payment processing and their integration with Acumatica. So I'm going to go ahead and let Steve get started here with Lightspeed. Thank you so much, Steve.
Absolutely. Thanks for the intro. We'll go ahead and get rolling here. I'll trust that you see my screen because we tested this. But
yes,
appreciate
we see it.
Good deal. So appreciate everyone jumping on. I think most the folks on here, Lightspeed Voice is a new name for you. So we definitely appreciate you jumping on and hope to give you a good idea of what we're doing here at Lightspeed Voice and how that works into the Acumatica world and some of the different things we can do to help streamline processes and increase efficiency, sales, all the good stuff for you. So, just kind of, I'll take it a little basic initially. So, who is Lightspeed Voice? We are a leading VoIP and sales automation provider. So, a lot of folks may be familiar with some of the bigger players, RingCentral, Twilio, all those kinds of companies. So we fit a pretty large niche within the industry for folks that really enjoy the customizable experience, great customer service, et cetera, versus kind of that all-in-one, here you go and use it type of mentality. So we're based down in Venice, Florida. We have all US-based employees. Most of us are down in Florida. We do have a small team up in New Jersey. We have some developers up there. But one of the most important things with us is we build, manage, support, and sell the product ourselves, right? So we're not relying on any third parties. If there's a challenge, it's our challenge. If there's great stuff, it's our great stuff. So that goes even down to the data center. So we own redundant data centers on the East and West Coasts. So we're not, again, reliant on anyone. And we do have customers in every state in the US. So we are heavy in the insurance industry, actually. It's our largest niche, but we became Acumatica customers not too long ago, a year and a half, 2 years ago, and started to build out our own integration for our phone solution, and then have just become more and more involved in the Acumatica world. So we're really excited about jumping in here, and there's seems to be obviously a great group of folks at Acumatica, and then certainly the surrounding industry, lots of great people. So we are a customer of Acumatica's, and we did get certified earlier this year. We kind of debuted at the summit back in January. And what the integration does with our phone solution is it provides a screen pop on an inbound phone call first and foremost. So when a call would come in, you can select the screen that would pop up for your customers. So you don't have to go searching and trying to figure out who's calling. It pops right up. And then on completion of the call, which is what you can kind of see on this small, tiny text here, but within the activity history, it shows all inbound and outbound calls, shows how long those calls were, who answered the call, and then in the note, it would actually have a link to the recorded call. So, somebody calls back in a month later and has some questions or, maybe disputing something, you can very easily find that call right within the customer file, and you're off and running. And the outbound dialing can be done through the Acumatica interface. You would just right-click the phone number, dial out, and then that number is triggered through our solution, and then therefore recorded and put back into the customer record. So it's a really slick solution, streamlined. We are still, at this point, the only certified VoIP provider. So we'll continue to work with Acumatica to get that integration more and more as we go. But basically, again, you're really looking at the screen pop, the insertion of the activity into the record, and then the link to the call recording. So we're pretty excited about those things as we go. I do have a video, but it's audio tends to be a problem on those things. So we'll just kind of go through, and if you're interested in that, we can share that through other means for sure. But first and foremost, we really are kind of Acumatica folks. APS is on here. We utilize them. We utilize MaxQ for some of our billing and contract management. So great stuff there. And then really starting to bring on, several Acumatica users, having some great success in that world. So, from a functionality standpoint, you know, if you kind of look at VoIP in general, you know, you're going to have a lot of overlap on features and functions, right? We've got, you know, of course, you got IVRs, queues, ring groups that we can customize for you and build out however you'd like. Again, those recorded calls. You can do live call coaching, so you can listen in live on calls. You can actually whisper in and give tips or suggestions as they're going, or you can actually barge in and take over a call with the solution. There is a time clock management aspect to it, and one nice thing we have is, you know, it is a VoIP system, so it is reliant on the internet. But with our solution, if there's ever an interruption on the internet, we instantly recognize that from your office, and then we can forward those calls to another, whether it's a cell phone or whatever other phone number in a different location, whatever the case is. But we do that in real time. And then there's tons of reporting. I'll show you a screenshot here in a couple minutes to just show all the recording on who's making calls, who's not, what's the average hold time for your folks, all that kind of good stuff, with some leaderboards. You've got internal chat. You can drag and drop calls. So if you're on a call, you just simply drag to the other person, and that transfers the call right over to them. And then what really separates us, aside from the integration, is our customer support. We go above and beyond for folks. All of our techs are trained in all aspects of the system, so we don't have a multi-tiered support solution. If you call us, you're getting somebody that's going to be able to handle that problem for you almost, always right away. And again, without having to get transferred, put on hold, we'll call you back in 2 days, any of that stuff. So we really pride ourselves on that. The other aspect of what we do is around sales automation. So you can create automated workflows within our platform that will send out emails, texts, and then set up a bunch of phone calls for you. So, if you're doing sales campaigns, renewal campaigns, any kind of repeat, type of campaign, you can create a workflow in whatever frequency you'd like. You can send a text every day. You can make 2 phone calls a day. You can send, an email a week, whatever you wanted to do, and you can lay that out over as much time as you want. And then it can also be set up where a certain disposition would trigger a whole other workflow. So the idea in the solution, if you utilize it in its fullest, is that no one is ever really without a follow-up. Even if it's a renewal or an annual checkup, you can always set up a plan to have that done automatically, and obviously create email templates, etc. So it's really a pretty broad solution. Just popping up a screenshot here. This would be the screen that most people would be working in throughout the day. So what you're looking on the right side would be all the people in our particular group, right? So you can have a sales, a support, billing, whatever queues you would want, you can have those set up. So this particular one is our sales queue. So you can see how many calls people are making inbound and outbound throughout the day. The green dot would tell you who's available and who's not. And we can see, in this particular example, Michael's on a call that's actually on a Zoom meeting. So that triggers to the phone number that called in. And then you've got up here, just real quick analytics, right? How much call time do we have today? How many outbound calls, how many inbound, and then if there's any wait time. And then down below, you just get some kind of cool leaderboard metrics for your staff. Anytime you visualize these types of things, it's going to be good. So you can see who's been on the phone the longest, most outbound calls, most inbound calls. And then these other tabs, you can really start drilling down. So like the CDR report, you could really, plug in any combination of data fields and pull a report, right? So how many inbound calls to this queue during this time, or how many, this particular user, whatever the case is. I could do a week, a month, a year, basically anything from a reporting standpoint. And then you've got your user status. So how long are people available? How long are they on calls? Your call history, which is just going to be a listing of all the calls that came in, and then a view of the ring groups and queues. And those are all customizable for you. Again, it obviously could do a full hour easily on the demo side, but just given the time, wanted to highlight those items. On the left side here is where you would manage your messaging. So this would be your texts inbound and outbound would be displayed here in a singular platform. All the workflow management and sales performance can be viewed in here as well. But the phone solution tends to be the leader as we get out with new customers, and then they'll get into the sales automation kind of as things go. So as far as who we are over at Lightspeed, we've got I think we're at 54, 55 folks from an employee standpoint, but we've got Brad Fuller as our CEO. He started the company, still plugging along. It's privately owned, etc. I kind of handle all the sales and marketing and product type of things. And we've got Greg McCammon, who helps me out with the sales and marketing team. And then for folks that are interested in learning more, I can certainly help out. But Doug Paul is really would be the primary contact as things would go. So Doug handles a bunch of stuff. He handles most of our direct sales via the Acumatica channel, and he also manages for the whole company our channel sales program, and I'll talk about that a little bit. But happy to share Doug's info. I can certainly help out as well, but Doug is really the expert on the product, the channel, and all things related to that. So I think Doug should be out there listening. So he'll certainly, certainly happy to pass along his information. And then, I think on here we've got a mix of end users and ISVs and partners, et cetera. So we certainly, if you're just looking to go direct, we can certainly help you out. But we do have both a referral and a channel partner program. Obviously, in the Acu space, everything's driven through partners, so we like to live into that as much as possible and engage those partners when it makes the most sense. But we have a couple ways we can go about it. We do have just a straight referral program where if you do have clients that are interested and you just want to be hands off, right? It's like, hey, Doug, give these guys a call. I'll help you out as needed. Then Doug would basically handle everything. He would, pick up the phone, give the call, certainly keep you in the loop as far as what's happening, but he would take it all the way from start to finish, and we would provide a one-time referral back to the partner. Or we do have a full channel partner program where, obviously we would provide all the training and materials needed, but, in that program, the channel partner would kind of handle the sales process through signing, right? So we onboarding and support, but just that sales process would be from the channel partner. And in those situations, we do have a recurring revenue opportunity for those partners. So Doug would be happy to chat with you on those. And then just to kind of talk a little bit about the support, getting signed up is always just half the battle, especially in the phone world. There's a ton of logistics and onboarding that's needed. I always kind of say the mixed blessing about being a phone solution is that everybody needs phones, but the flip side is that everybody already has phones, right? So we handle 100% the porting process. We would give you a dedicated onboarding specialist. So once the paperwork is signed, that onboarding specialist would reach out, get all the information. We would already have all the information on the network and number of extensions, obviously, and working through the phones. But that onboarding specialist would take it all the way through the go live date, and then you actually stick with that person for 30 days after. So we don't kind of just get you started and throw you back into the tech support world, which again, our tech support is fantastic, but especially in the beginning, it's nice to have a person or two that you can email or call right off the bat. Another great thing with us from a startup cost standpoint, we basically don't have any. There's some different prepay type of plans we have where you can actually get phones included if you prepay for a certain amount of time, et cetera. But so that would, that would be the initial payment, but that's really paying for your first couple months of service. There's no setup fees or anything along those lines. So it truly is an easy transition. So again, that's about the best I could do given the 15 minutes, and it looks like I did pretty darn good on that time. So definitely appreciate it. I'll definitely be sticking around for questions if we have that time at the end. So please feel free to do that. But other than that, we'll get it over to Matt with Starship, and he's going to talk about how to automate your shipping. So thanks again, everybody.
Okay, thank you, Steve. Great job, great product. All right, everyone, let me share my screen here. Again, my name is Matt St. John from V Technologies. Today we're going to do kind of a brief overview. We'll process a shipment, but again, we'll show you the integration that Starship has with Acumatica. So first off, one nice thing with Starship is as a shipper, I can actually just work inside of the Starship program. We do give different options for your workflow. So let me just click on Starship. Up top here, as you see, I can pull by sales order numbers. I can pull by shipments, even by customer numbers. If your workflow is, hey, let's pull by the sales order number, just know when I process the shipment through Starship, it will actually automatically create the shipment record inside of Acumatica. Okay, so could remove a step if you wanted, but most clients, it is via the shipment record because, of course, we generate those sales orders, create pick tickets, and then generate the shipment record. Especially if you're looking or using at Acumatica's WMS system, where you can define do the pick pack through a handheld device. Of course, that process would be creating the shipment record. But just know with that integration, however you define the handheld device, the package on the handheld device, that's how Starship's going to bring it in. So a nice thing with using a WMS is, as a shipper, I really don't even need to get into doing item box detail. But again, just know if you're doing that inside of Acumatica on the shipment record, Starship will bring that in. So in this case, we'll just quickly grab an order. So up top by shipment, here is the source field. Now, if I happen to have my source information barcoded with Starship, we fully support just a regular plug and play wedge type scanner where I can barcode, read that, and Starship would load that information. Maybe I want to narrow my search result down in this lookup screen, so I can choose to add a filter. Any of these columns I can move around. Of course, I can sort them by the column. But in this case here, I'm just going to manually select an order. I do have the option, I can click the checkbox and then go down and click create shipment, or even just slide over and tell Starship by clicking the truck icon to create the shipment. So with Starship, the integration to Acumatica, it is a live connection. So what this is doing is just read all the shipment record header and line item detail. Again, if I define the shipment inside of Acumatica item box detail, that's how it would flow into Starship. Or of course, you can, as I'm going to show you, do that inside of Starship. So here's my source information. Just know Starship out of the box fully supports multiple company branches, divisions, warehouses, locations. So here's my shipment number, even going to show you the sales order number. Sender information, simply grabbing the company sender information. Anyone out there, if you have the requirement to do blind or drop shipments, you see Starship will fully support that. So maybe I'm shipping for Walmart, and Walmart wants their company information on the sender info. We could fully support that. I'm doing this as a manual selection. Of course, with Starship, again, simple live connection. So we can point Starship to Acumatica fields, other fields, maybe then besides the shipment record fields. Maybe you're using attribute or custom field. So maybe we had a field set up that says Walmart. Starship could look at the address ID, point to that Walmart field. It says Walmart, Starship would automatically generate that information. So really throughout this, you're going to see the name of the game with Starship is to streamline your shipping process. So less things as a shipper you have to click, type, select, of course, the better. Recipient information, simply pulling from the ship to info. As you see, this is international, so Starship does fully support international. It is multi-carrier, multi-mode, so I can process LTL shipments, international shipments, parcel, domestic shipments, all through this one user interface. Transportation, simply looking at the ship via, automatically telling Starship carrier service, account, billing information. If anyone's doing third party or collect shipments, we could set up Starship to have it come in and it's going to know, okay, yep, this is third party, automatically select that. Now Starship has a database where we can store your customer's third party account information. So I can even have this set up that Starship knows, oh, yep, it's for USA bartending school. Let me automatically select that. And in this drill down, this is just where you could store that information. So here's their address information. This is where I can also store multiple account numbers. So again, Starship could populate that. Also know with the third-party account information, Starship will actually verify if it is a valid address or billing account, I should say. That way, if you are shipping third-party and it is incorrect, Starship would notify your shipper, hey, that's an incorrect billing account number, you know, fix it. And that way it's going to help eliminate those charges where we accidentally sent it out on a bad account and you get stuck paying for it. And also with the address, Starship will do address validation. We do verify zip+4, so that's also going to help save on those address correction fees. Shipment details, of course, is just really all our shipment options. Now, if I had insurance flagged on this shipment, Starship would read that, bring it in, and it would automatically be flagged in this case. We can even also help populate the declared values if needed. Now, with these fields, I can manually select them, read it from Acumatica, or in this case, I can default them. So here, I'm telling Starship, in this case, always use UPS's Quantum View, pull in an email address or email addresses, and then I have my system set up to only use UPS's email in this case if there was a delay or an exception. And I'll show you a little bit because with Starship, you are going to gain access to our e-notify program where you can create your own custom email templates to send to all the shipment information to your customers. So shipment details, shipment status, quick, you know, just basic of it. It's open, it's ready. Here's the ETA coming from the carrier. Now packaging. So this is where we can get into that item to box detail. So I'm going to drill down. As I mentioned before, if I define this inside Acumatica first, that's how it will come into Starship. Now here, this Acer laptop, as you see, it's already been packaged. I didn't define that inside of Acumatica. This is just part of Starship, and this one item has a what we call a packaging scenario. So Starship knows, hey, every time they ship the laptop, they put it in a package that they've named laptop, so it's automatically packaged it for me. Now, in this drop-down, under custom packaging here, or even the Acer laptop, this is just part of Starship's database where you can set up and store those custom packaging. Now, this will reverse translate into Acumatica. Just the caveat to that is it does have to match if you have the box ID set up inside of Acumatica. So, for example, if I say this is large, I do have to have a box called large inside of Acumatica. But nice thing with using custom packaging inside of Starship is, as you see, the dimensions will automatically populate. And from here, if I wanted to get into that item to box detail, you know, maybe I need to add an additional box, I can do that here. Maybe I quickly need 10 boxes. So we have a repeat box function. I can click this and I can tell Starship, hey, repeat this package 9 times. I can even copy the weight if I wanted to, click OK, and then Starship would populate all those additional boxes. From here now, maybe I know this motherboard, it fits in the laptop box, so I can simply drag and drop, move my items around, build my shipment, and from over here, quantity simply being pulled from Acumatica. Weights, my system, I'm just reading the weights from Acumatica. Of course, if I had a scale that was integrated, I would be able to pull the weights automatically from a scale when I put the box on a scale, or of course, manually type that in. Next door, as you see, we have bill weight. This is the actual dimensional weight. So with Starship, we will do dimensional calculation based on the carrier's calculation. So in this case, this is UPS's dimensional rate. And when this gets processed, this will go out at the 22 and 19 pounds. Okay, so we fully support dimensional weights. This is going to go get to UPS at the correct weights. That way later on, you're not going to get that correction invoice that says, oh, you sent that one box at, you know, for example, 5 pounds. It should have been 19. Okay. And really dragging this out because I'm showing you all the different options. You know, it's a very streamlined process because as a shipper, I really don't have to click on a lot of these items, especially here with the line item detail. I just show this to talk about Starship's own database where we could set up and store your inventory items. And the reason we do this because, again, my system, item, description, unit of measure, value, weights, quantities, again, all that's coming from Acumatica. Now, maybe I don't have freight class or NMFC codes if I'm doing LTL shipments set up inside of Acumatica. I can store that information here inside a Starships database. In this case, with international data that is required. Here's the country of manufacturer, Schedule B or harmonized codes. I can store that. Maybe if this was missing, I can even come in here, quickly look it up, because Starship would alert me, hey, you need a Schedule B code, and I can come in, look up the information, select it, and of course, any of this information that I add, Starship will remember it for the next time I ship this item. Again, helping streamline that so I don't have to redo and manually select any of this information. And we'll close this. Down below here is the live rate shopping. So as you see, Starship is showing me all my live, that's under the contract charge table or column here. That's my live negotiator rates that I have with the carriers. So again, with LTL carriers, as you see, the UPS, FedEx, USPS, all that information automatically being populated. I have here a rate shop scenario. So I'm just simply telling Starship, you know what? It's just a parcel shipment, so only show me my parcel carriers. I can also have the opposite rule set up if it was an LTL, just show me my LTL carriers. Right? Total days, again, live call. So if tomorrow, say UPS ups a fuel surcharge, when you rate shop tomorrow, you would gain access to those new rates. List charges would be published list rates. Now, in this case, these are the same because this is a test account. And then applied charges is simply plus or minus any freight rules. I'll talk about freight rules in a minute. Again, my system here automatically running it, showing me as a shipper, here are your options. Maybe I want to always manually select the least expensive carrier. But Starship can even take that a step further where we can set up ship via rules and we can tell Starship, okay, automatically rate shop my shipment. And then I want you to automatically select the least expensive carrier, maybe least expensive and least amount of delivery days or total days. So we can even take and automate that whole process of selecting the carrier. Now, freight rules, so that applied charge, if anyone has the need to add additional handling fees, or maybe you do free freight over X amount of dollars. With these freight rules, Starship can most certainly handle that. Here I have one, it's a 10% discount, and as you see, it's just based by the customer. So I tell Starship, anytime the customer is a bartender, they get a 10% discount. With those freight rules, you can have unlimited freight rules, put them in any certain order, you could apply stop rules, but here's one that's a flat fee. So freight rules can be percentages, min maxes, flat rates, and they can be triggered by all the way down to the line item detail. So here I have one, hey, we have a laptop, anytime it's on an order, it's fragile, so we have to use additional packaging material. So here I'm just saying, hey, let's add a $5 additional fee to help cover for that additional packaging material. Now, Starship also has integrations with e-commerce sites, shopping carts like Shopify, Magento, WooCommerce, so on and so forth. So we can actually even send the information back to shopping carts or e-commerce sites. But again, really quick, for the demo, I'm just going to ship and process this order. So I can click the ship and process button, or up top under the shipment dropdown, I have shortcut keys. I can save an order. Maybe I want to create a return label at the same time, but here we'll just do ship and process. Now in a live environment, what Starship's going to do is, of course, automatically just start printing out our shipping documents. I preview everything, so it generates PDF, so it takes a minute, just for the sake of the demo. And this document here, I use this, and this is what we call our smart label. And a smart label, as you see, will generate a shipping label and packing list together. Most certainly, we can send a shipping label to a thermal printer or printers. Sometimes customers have, say, the FedEx label is a different size than the UPS label. So we can tell it where to send each document. And then the packing list, you do have the option that can also go to a thermal label, or if you wanted to, of course, print it to paper. Documents can also be customized. So here on the packing list, I put our logo. With each document, you can assign or create unlimited templates, and then you can also get into assigning printing rules. So, maybe, again, I'm shipping for Walmart. They want their logo on the packing list. I can create a special packing list for just Walmart orders, and then Starship would know, okay, it's for Walmart, just generate that set of documents or that single document. With this being international, as you see, Starship can also generate commercial invoices. Out of the box, all this information, header information, line item detail, automatically going to print. And then here I just customize this one so it's signed and dated. And then also, if we need to, certificate of origin, in this case, a NAFTA form, same thing, automatically going to populate. And then I've just customized it so it's signed, dated. So again, as a shipper, bring in my order, maybe do some item box detail, maybe do some rate shopping. I click ship and process. Starship's then going to take me right back to the main Starship screen where I can select my next shipment, go through that process again. And for the write back, I'll just jump into Acumatica. I'll refresh the shipment lookup here. Now here's 1441, the one we just shipped. As you see, now it's marked confirm. I'll drill down into it. And in the drill down, again, status confirmed, shipping settings. Here we're writing back freight cost, freight price. So we're writing back what you're going to be charged by the carrier, as well as what you're charging the customer. And then on the packaging, in this case here, I built this shipment inside of Starship. And as you see, it also reverse translate box ID and including what I put in each box. So that item box detail reverse translates. Here's the tracking information. Custom reference 1 and 2, that's up to you what you want to send back there. I'm doing actual weights and the ETA from the carrier. And then also the notes tab, same thing. If you want to write back a note, up to you what we write that back as. So here I'm just doing ship weight and the tracking information, but completely customizable. You know, if you need to, you can send back most of the information that you want. With Starship inside sales order entry, we also give you the ability to rate shop. So that actually I left that screen open. So we add a rate shop button right in sales order entry. Nice thing with that is included, does not require any additional user seats or licenses. So as a customer service rep, I could actually bring up this screen right from sales order entry. I can even define what I'm shipping from here, just like I was inside Starship. And then again, down below, see my live rate. So I can choose the rate, have that applied to the sales order, even do address validation ahead of time. So we give you that option. Again, it's included, no additional user seats or licenses. And then also with Starship is our dashboard program. Real quick, just a reporting tool. Anyone can access dashboard. Again, does not require any additional user seats. So here I just have a heat map, but as you're going to see, we have performance indicators, kind of bar graphs, pies, whatever you need to set this up as. Here I have top statistics. E-Notify, this is that email program that I was discussing earlier. So here, real quick, I'll show you an email I created. Nice thing is, hey, I can send out the customer with my company logo instead of UPS, and even show them, here's your boxes. This was in each box, and here are your tracking numbers, which are hyperlinked. So you can send them right back to the carrier so they can track. These also allow you unlimited templates, and instead of printing rules, you can also get into doing emailing rules. So maybe you want to include a promo code, you can simply assign a template, and maybe you only want that to go to certain customers. You can do that as well. And real quick here, a bunch of canned crystal reports from address corrections to late delivery. So that would actually show you any package that was not delivered by the guaranteed delivery date. So you can reach out to the carrier and let them know and try to get a refund. And then applied versus contract. This report, you can actually run this. It's going to show you all your shipments. It's going to have the applied, so that's what you charge the customer. Middle column on the report would be your contract rate, so what the carrier is going to charge you. And the third column would be a simple plus or minus. So a quick report you can run, make sure you're not losing money on your shipment. With that being said, please feel free, again, brief overview, kind of jam a lot in there in a short bit of time, but please feel free to reach out if you have any questions or would like to schedule a live demo with me. And with that being said, I'm going to pass this over to Patty so she can talk to you about how APS can help save on your credit card processing.
Thank you, Matt, and thank you, Stephen, for a great presentation, very informative. And bear with me, I am going to see if I can figure out exactly which screen to share here so you don't have to be tortured with the PowerPoint. I may just have to torture you with the PowerPoint. And I apologize ahead of time. You're going to have to see my notes eventually. I think that I've attended several Starship presentations, and every time I do, I learn something new, Matt. And I wanted to mention how much I see that Starship can help with taking away the complexity of rate shopping, for example, and streamlining the process by using the freight rules. I mean, I catch something every time, and I want to point it out to the audience. If you're interested in one or both of the solutions that were presented today, I am here to show you how you can obtain a savings with your credit card processing rates and fees, and the savings will allow you to purchase the solutions. So we will try to come in at a negative cost to you and give you maybe the budget that was not in place initially this year to purchase additional third-party applications for Acumatica and help you to get them, because both are very, very beneficial. With Lightspeed, being able to automate the sales and customer service process, right now it's all about automation, right? Hands off, get it done, focus on the next step. So that's why I'm here today. I want to continue the topic on making sure that things get automated, but they are also compliant and secure. So what you see on the screen is a picture of the APS team. And I like to bring up that picture because we are very diverse, not only in cultures, but also in the level of expertise that we have in our team. We have programmers on staff. We have people that have worked with the back-end bank. We have credit card processing industry experts. We have ERP experts and people that work with channel partners like myself. And I'm the hot chick in the white jacket, I always like to say, just so that everybody knows. A little bit about APS. We've been in the business for well over a decade. We process for thousands of merchants in over 20 countries. No customer is too small or too large for us. We can process anywhere between $2,000 a month and over $20 million a month. We've been ranked as a top 100 acquirer in the United States by the Nielsen report, and we have proudly been a part of the Inc. 5000 list for America's fastest growing companies for the last 3 years. I do want to underline the fact that we seamlessly integrate to many different ERPs, point of sale systems, mobile solutions, e-commerce solutions, and anything that you require in order to automate the process of accepting payments within your ERP. If you do not see the solution on our website, let us know and we'll be happy to talk to you about integrating it. And I'll tell you 99% of the time we take on the development cost. The last thing that I want to underline also is the fact that we offer live support. Yes, you are guaranteed a live human being on the other side of the line should you run into credit card processing issues. And here's where I'd like to begin so that everyone can better understand exactly how and why we can help you to not only decipher your statements, your current credit card processing statements, but also to find out if you are leaving money on the table. It all begins with the fee structures, ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not. Most people are very happy with the flat rates because they're very simple, straightforward, no questions. Everything is the same month after month. Reconciliation is a breeze. But do you know that if you sign a flat rate contract and the card brands offer a special program, especially now with COVID going on, there are all sorts of programs that will offer to lower your rates, you as a merchant will not be able to take advantage of the program. Why is that? Because you have already signed a flat rate contract with your processor, which means that the processor is keeping the savings that should have gone to you. Please understand that. Anyone that is currently on a flat rate program, be suspicious of how much money you should be saving and check. APS is happy to provide you with an audit of your current rates and fees. And as I mentioned, help you to decipher your current statement. The next fee structure is a tiered pricing, giving your processor the power to do what they want with the transactions that you process. They have 3 to 6 buckets in which they qualify the transactions. I'm just going to talk about the 3 levels: fully, mid, and non-qualified. We have analyzed thousands of statements. I've been with APS for 5 years, and every time I see a statement with tiered pricing structure, I would say 90% of the transactions are non-qualified. I ask the merchant, what is the criteria behind the qualifications? Do you understand it? They don't. They check with the processor. The processor doesn't want to explain it. Why is that? Because the processor has full control. And of course, placing the transactions in the non-qualified bucket instantly gives the processor the higher earnings, right? So again, take the power away from the processor, keep it for yourself. And how do you do that? Go to Interchange Plus. This is the 3rd fee structure that you see on the screen. Interchange Plus offers to pass the hard costs from the card brands directly to the merchant, and then allows the merchant to negotiate a markup fee with the processor. Notice how in this case the merchant has the power. You have the power, which is how it should be. You're the one that's bringing the business to the table. The processor should accommodate the type of process that you would like to follow, the type of fee structure that you would like to take advantage of. Interchange Plus is the most transparent and allows you to take advantage of the programs that are put in place to lower rates. Now, there's a specific program that I'd like to talk about today. It's level 3 processing. Most businesses are not aware of level 3 processing, and for those of you that are not familiar with this term, it's a program that was put in place by Visa and MasterCard. Basically, if you're accepting corporate or government cards and you are a US-based company, the rates can go down in half, sometimes even more than half. The average savings for an Acumatica user is about $18,000 a year, and that's going on the lower end. Let me tell you that we've been able to save people over $400,000 a year, and of course that's depending on the volume, but simply by processing using level 3 processing. Now, Visa and MasterCard require that you submit 13 to 16 data fields in order to justify a level 3 rate and prove that you are US-based, that it was a business card or a government card you received. Once you submit those fields, the rates are lowered instantly. Now, nobody has time to key them in. We've been talking about automation. That is exactly what APS has done with level 3. We have automated the process where we take the fields directly out of Acumatica, deliver them on your behalf, and guarantee the lower rates via level 3 processing. We have seen the rates go as low as 0.08% based on the volume of the transaction. So there are buckets that Visa created. Initially, they will cut the rate in half, but if the transaction is within a certain level, let's just say an $80,000 or $100,000 transaction, the rate can go as low as 0.08%. So level 3, ladies and gentlemen, is key. I'd like you to focus on the analysis that's on the screen right now. For those of you that have been multitasking, this is where we can potentially bring you the funds that you will require to purchase the solutions that were presented today. Take a look at this. All you have to do is take 3 seconds. The bottom of the screen shows $63,000 in savings. And all because we switched this particular merchant from a tiered structure to Interchange Plus and offered them level 3 savings. That is how simple it is. Now, we had to look at the statement, verify the types of card brands they were receiving, and then we were able to determine the level of savings. But this is the level of savings you can expect, an average of 33 to 43%. Imagine that. What can you do with that extra funding? With COVID nowadays, everyone's taking advantage of it, and actually they're being able to pay an additional employee. You know, it gets that rough. Now let's compare. Many people will tell me, well, I really don't want to change. The processor works for me. If it works, why bother with changes? Well, we talked about level 3, but there are other reasons. Many Acumatica users are using Authorize.net. With Authorize.net, you need to work with 3 different providers, right? You have the gateway provider, the integration provider, the processor. With APS, it's an all-in-one type of scenario because we are the gateway and processor, and we created the integration to Acumatica. So if you do run into any credit card processing issues, you just go to us. You don't have to go to the 3 different providers anymore. Plus, there's a level of savings involved as well. Authorize.net does not allow level 3 processing. So right out of the box, without level 3, you're really leaving money on the table. I mentioned that we do integrate with several third-party products. I'm listing some of the most popular here, not too many. Keep in mind, mobile solutions, point-of-sale solutions, e-commerce solutions. If you have a homegrown e-commerce solution, we have an open API. Our developers are there to help. We do not charge. As long as the volume of the account justifies our development costs, we will take on the development. And again, in the 5 years I've been with APS, we've never charged any of our customers for developing the solution or the integration. Some of the key features you want to look out for, in case you are looking at other processors, make sure that they assist with PCI compliance. APS has a dedicated team which will make sure that you become and remain PCI compliant. I talked about the level 3. The click to pay is allows you to print your invoices from Acumatica, and on the body of the invoice there is a click to pay button. These invoices can be emailed directly from Acumatica to your customers, allowing your customers to make their payments online and using the automation schedule in Acumatica. Again, we're talking about automating, right? We use the automation schedule to capture the funds, update the invoices. Acumatica also can be, you can set it up to send you alerts so you know that the payments are coming in. Really, you just sit back, relax, and let your customers do the work for you while they're making the payment. We also provide an integration to EMV and chip readers. Our software is completely free. Installation, implementation, training, maintenance, support, additional features that we offer, absolutely free of charge. We make our money on the transaction side of things. I explained the click to pay, and I'm going to jump into the screen where the online portal is available. First, I'd like you to maybe step over to a customer's point of view, right? When your customer receives the invoice from Acumatica, it's a standard form. You can basically customize the logo, the font size, and color. The important piece is this click to pay button. When your customer clicks on the click to pay button, they are directed into the click to pay portal. They are also able to see within, and I apologize for the slow connection here, they're able to see details regarding the invoice that they clicked on. They're also able to see any open invoice and drill down into the details of each one of those invoices. They can be allowed to pay either with credit card or ACH. You could limit them to only credit card. Now, the only time a customer would have to use the click to pay is when they obtain the first click to pay invoice. Once they click on that button, they're actually able to save their information in the vault for future use. They get login credentials, and then all they have to do is go to this link, and they're able to log into this portal. They can pay custom amounts, full amounts, one or many invoices. Notice how we will update the amount that is owed. In this case, I'm going to pay for one invoice. All I have to do is click on the pay button. I chose to pay with credit card. Now notice how simple it is. It basically asks for 4 fields to be filled in order to submit my payment. If I have used click to pay in the past, all I have to do is key in 3 fields because we will save the postal code. Once I complete the fields, I submit the transaction. It goes through our gateway. We verify the card information is accurate. If there were any discrepancies, your customer would get pop-up windows indicating the discrepancy. If the transaction goes through, they will see a success notification. You can also set up the system to send them an automatic receipt that looks like this. And then back in Acumatica, the automation schedule takes care of the rest. Very simple. Click to pay is simple, convenient, and secure. Give your customers the option to pay you the way they want, when they want. Now, most of you are probably curious and would like to know how to get the analysis of your current statements. Very simple. All you have to do is send me a couple of copies of your most current merchant statements. I will submit them to our analysis team, get back to you within 24 hours, and provide you with the audit of your statement. And then you can decide which way to go. Ladies and gentlemen, worst case scenario is you go back to your current processor, tell them what you found out, and get the lower rates from them. Take the challenge. If you allow me to analyze your statements, and I'm not able to beat or match any competitor out there, I will give you $500 for simply allowing me to analyze. I'd like to just bring my contact information on the screen and hand it back over to you, Adrian.
Thank you so much, Patty. I'm going to flash up everybody's contact information. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.